11 Central Avenue, Albany, and CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier online wagering site in New York State. CapitalOTBBet.com. Sign up today.
Morning.
It is the morning, Seth. Yes. I don't know about the good part.
I was more emphasizing Florida Derby.
It is the morning. Good morning to you as well. And what looks like it's already a little steamy out here, but
It is.
We got a heck of a day on tap here. 14 races, of course, culminating with the Grade 1 $1 million Curl and Florida Derby at I believe around 6:48 in the PM, which seems like about 3 weeks from now. But yeah.
11:30 first post.
Yeah, 11:30 first post, big
right,
pick
6:38.
fives, and actually we wrap it all up tomorrow too. Actually, the championship meet and with a mandatory Rainbow Six. So a lot going on. Can't wait to get this card started though. 10 stakes today.
Yeah, looking forward to it, and we will dive into it. Do want to thank our friends here at Gulfstream for their sponsorship of this and some of the other programming and events at Capital OTB. During the championship meet, we appreciate their support. Part of that leading into our trip down here, and we were live from the paddock yesterday and live from the paddock again today. So, as I say, we appreciate their support and their hospitality. Coming up a little bit later on Racing Across America, I'm just looking down my rundown here. We'll be joined live by Aaron Greider, former jockey, now an executive with First Racing. We'll talk a little bit with Aaron a little bit later on in the program. Also live with Mike Welch from the Daily Racing Form. Of course, he's up at Saratoga in the summer, but based here most of the year, so we'll get some of his thoughts on action this afternoon. Tape pieces, Brian Lynch, Safi Joseph. Got some thoughts from your colleagues at Keisha and Ron on today's card. Tyler Gaffleone and Jose Ortiz, we caught up with them yesterday, so should be a fun show coming up about a half an hour or so on Racing Across America. And just before we get into today's card, I want to remind people that if you want to reserve a seat for the Kentucky Derby, the race book, you can start reserving your seats today. The Clubhouse race book, 711 Central Avenue in Albany. And also, we're going to go through this fantastic card at Gulfstream, but don't forget, up at Oaklawn, the Arkansas Derby, which has Secret Oath. I think Cyberknife is really interesting, but a lot of people, there's buzz on We the People, too.
I thought that, too. Just looking at on paper, he just kind of sticks out a little bit. I'll be rooting like hell for Secret Oath, though. I just think it's a phenomenal story for the coach.
Add a great story angle to the Oaks Derby weekend, certainly. And over at Turfway, the Jeff Ruby Stakes Steak, which has Tiz the Bomb in there from Kenny McPeak. So a lot of nice action all over, but highlighted by Florida Derby Day here at Gulfstream Park with, as you say, a lot of stakes action. We'll kind of go through some of the non-stakes kind of quickly because we just have a half an hour here, and we probably have 2 hours worth of entertainment and thoughts on these races. But ready to jump in the opener?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're on the synthetic in race number 1, mile and 70 yards, plain vanilla $10,000 claimer. How'd you see the kickoff to the day?
Early pick 5 time as well, and there'll be juicy pools today. I went deep in here, 7-6-4-1-2 Farley. Antonio Sano, when he puts an Ortiz on, they're really, really good, and the intent is there, 25%. So I put Farley on top. Long Beach Kid off the claim for Rohan Crichton. That's up to 41% now. And then number 4, Benefactor. I think we can draw a line through the dirt race last time. Excuse me. Focus on the Tapeta race 2 back. Puts them in the mix here.
I went 2-1-7-9. I put Buffalo Max on top. I thought the last race kind of maybe signaled some form, and I think a repeat of that last race might give this horse a little bit of an edge. And 6-1 on the morning line. It's a competitive race, but I thought Buffalo Max was playable. I have yours in the mix as well in the opener. 2-1-7-9.
The first of 3 pick 4s today in race 2, and we'll get to the turf course for the first time. It's a starter, optional claimer. These are Florida breds going 5.
I have it 5, 7, 8, and 12. I put my Taiwan on in the top spot. Comes off a win at Delaware in June, so there's a layoff to contend with. But you look at the workouts at Palm Meadows, I think he's going to come back on his toes. And if we get a better performance off a layoff like that, could be the one to go through. But Henry's World with the early speed, Obviously, that's going to be very tough. Had a little bit of a layoff from early January until mid-March, but the comeback was successful in an optional claim or starter allowance. I think class-wise, this horse is going to stack up very well in this bunch. And then in the third spot, I went with Granger County, who also has some speed.
Yeah.
These two may be a little bit interesting on the front end. My Taiwan On normally doesn't. The last time out did show the speed, but again, that was in June. I would think probably doesn't have the speed off the layoff to keep up with the top two. Maybe that'll be beneficial. 5, 7, 8, and 12.
Yeah, I've got the same top pick on top. It's 5, 3, 8, 7 for me. I'll just quickly mention Richie's in such good form right now. And the horse he was just second to in the grade 3, the Gulfstream Park Turf Sprint, is Yes, I'm Free, who's just been freaking down here this winter. So he's been keeping really, really good company. He's versatile. You don't want to be too far out of it on this turf course, especially in the sprints. 5, 3, 8, 7 for me.
Kickoff stakes action in the third at Gulfstream. Marathonish mile and a half in the Orchid. Grade 3 event, $150,000 up for grabs for the fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. Your thoughts on the third?
Well, there's no speed in the race, right? So I it's going to turn into a bunch sprint late, and I went 7-6-2 for me. Family Way is tactical at least, and that's the trip she pulled last time in the very one when Chad's Virginia Joy just outclassed the field. So I put her on top. Beautiful Lover, I think probably is the speed because she tried to wire the very one last time and came up a little short. She didn't run poorly. And she's probably going to be better off of it now. And she's going to stretch back out at a trip she won 2 back at. So I've got her in second. And then, Harajuku, is the one I think that's up against it a little bit today because she needs some hitting up front. She's not really going to get it. You can see she kind of just flattened out late last time because she didn't get any speed to run into. And I'm just kind of wondering if that's the same thing that's going to happen today. 7-6 over the 2.
I put Harajuku on top because I just wonder if she's not just a little bit classier.
Yeah.
Not much, but just enough to kind of overcome exactly what you said. There isn't a whole lot of speed, so Beautiful Lover may get out there. Champagne Ivy may get out there. And again, at a marathon distance, one of the others kind of separates a little bit early. They may be tough to reel in late. I used Beautiful Lover down in the third spot in Family Way underneath as one who maybe has that ability to stalk and pounce, and that may be the game plan in here for sure. We'll see. We'll know by the time they come through the stretch the first time how it's going to shake out. 2, 7, 6, and 1 for me in the Orchid.
Race 4, we get back to the Tapeta, one of 2 Tapeta races today. So we're dirt and we're turf today. People like that. It's a maiden special weight. These are for 3-year-olds. We go 1.70 miles on the Tapeta.
5, 2, 8, and 1. I put Quality G on top. Kind of master the obvious. Todd Pletcher trainee took a pop in the debut over at Tampa. I thought ran well enough. Certainly with a buyer that's stacks up nicely with this bunch off the debut. If this horse steps forward at all, could be very tough in here. So as I say, I'm kind of master of the obvious with the short price on the morning line, and I think short price when betting is all said and done. My Romeo Lima in the second spot. It's the other Pletcher. Also has had a couple of nice tries so far. Has shown some experience so far that has been productive. Hall of Dreams, I think, can be a player for Mark Casse. He hasn't been seen since Woodbine last November, but the first 2 starts were very good. If this horse comes back, I debate it because this is the kind of like normally a little bit of perhaps 2-year-old to 3-year-old maturity that moves the horse forward. And if this horse moves forward at the 5-1 morning line, Hall of Dreams is intriguing. 5, 2, 8, and 1.
9, 5, 8 for me. I took a shot with Bandamere, and Chad Brown, I think he lost his first 2, maybe 3 or 4 races on the Tapeta here, and then since then he's just boom. He's 8 for 20 on our Tapeta here, 40% for a 220 ROI. Bandamere ran okay on debut, and they bet him pretty hard. Coleridge blew the race open in deep stretch for Bill Mott, and Bandamere was okay, chased early, tired a little bit late, but I just think the Chad's horses, they have so much stamina to them and so much bottom to them that I think they've appreciated this Tapeta, and I don't really think it's a big surprise, and so I'm going to put Bandamere on top. You're going to get a decent enough price on him as well. Quality G is clearly the horse to beat, but I just think isn't it an odd spot? He runs 6 furlongs on dirt, at Tampa, and here he is going 2 turns on Tapeta. Maybe Todd just needs a 2-turn race for him. I don't know. If he runs back to that race, he'll win comfortably. And the runner-up was a private purchase for Safi. That freaked here, went crazy fast early and won his next start here and was pretty good doing it. And then Hall of Dreams for all the reasons you mentioned, a Tapeta horse up at Woodbine.
Also notable, Bandemir, who you may be on the smart side of the after the race situation. Oh, $18 on a Chad Brown. you may be, but it's his only horse in for today, so that's maybe notable.
I've heard that before.
Notable as well. The 5th at Gulfstream this afternoon. Again, more stakes action. It's the Cutler Bay, that subdivision I like a lot. The 3-year-olds on the turf, and this is another fun one of those stakes races on that annual series of races around the country for the sophomores on the grass.
This is my play of the day, main event, 5 over the 6-8. I just thought that race last time behind Coinage, who's a very, very good horse. Grade 2 winner, I think won the With Anticipation up at Saratoga. I thought it was a big effort. It was only his second start on turf. It was only his first start facing winners, and he ran huge. And this is a weaker field today. I'm pretty comfortable saying, and I just think the upside from main event, he's tactical. Jose can put him anywhere, and he's going to be really tough in here. Sousa Summer underneath at a little bit of probably is a pretty decent price. 20 on the morning line. Put the blinkers on. He wasn't that far behind main event, so you've seen me do this before. Favorite on top, price underneath, and then certainly Red Danger is the danger, no pun intended. I just don't like his running style. It's not going to win a lot of races on the turf, and it's pretty much why he comes up short more often than he wins, especially since he's been facing winners. He just, he's at the mercy of the pace, and he's got to pass them all. It's not a recipe for success.
I'm starting to think it's me. Some guy with a blower, I think, follows me around. Saratoga, the Saratoga Backstreets is the guy at the Mexican restaurant across the street. I think he waits for me to start in the morning.
Seth's going on the air. Better fire it up.
With the blower. This one's far enough away. I think we're okay. That one is close. But 5th race today for me, 5, 8, 2, and 4. I also have main event on top. 4 starts so far. Buyers are moving in the right direction. Stepped into Stakes Company last time, and I thought that second was very promising. Red Danger underneath, 4th in the Palm Beach last time. But I think the Brian Lynch runner is firing races that match up really well with this bunch. And Shug has Smoke and Tea, who I think can be a player off of the synthetic win last time in an optional claimer. But I think this horse fairly lightly raced and just moving in the right direction. Graphic detail is interesting for Bill Mott. Had been running on the dirt, and I think that one's kind of intriguing in here. But for me, I have it 5, 8, 2, and 4.
Race 6 is the Grade 3 Ghost Zapper. We go 1 mile in an eighth at 4-year-olds and up on the main track.
4, 6, 2, and 1. Again, Master of the Obvious. I just couldn't get past Fearless. Last 2 starts, he's been behind Speaker's Corner, who's going to be one of the players to watch in this division this year. So off of those second-place finishes, good numbers in the past couple of starts. I'll go with Fearless, as I said, kind of Master of the Obvious. But I think Greatest Honor is going to be very interesting. I think Greatest Honor is going to benefit from the seasonal debut. Long layoff from trying the Florida Derby last year and running 3rd. Came back over at Tampa in a little stake, and I think ran 6th. But I think this horse is going to benefit from that. Should note that Scalding was a nice winner for Shug in that race. But I'm going to look for Greatest Honor to move forward nicely this afternoon. And Laughing Boy for Ken McPeak has a little bit of early speed. Hasn't been seen since November, but is working well. Won't shock me if this horse runs well off the bench. So 4, 6, 2, and 1.
Laughing Boy's my long shot play today. 2, 4, 1 for me, and I think he is loose. Don't think this is a great race. I'm just not a fan of Fearless. And I think Laughing Boy, and Ronnie and I say this all the time, you put Julian Leperoux on the lead, he's as good as any jockey in the country. He could dole out the splits. He's so good at getting a horse to relax and settle and saving something for the stretch. And like I said, I think Laughing Boy can control. It should be a send mission. There's not a lot of other speed in here. Stretching out, can get into a nice gallop, and hopefully he can kind of just grind them all into the ground. So I put him on top. I'm Fearless. Clearly, the race goes through him. He's probably going to be a short price. Well, 4 to 5 on the morning line. Okay, so yeah, he is going to be a short price. Speaker's Corner, I might call him the best horse in the country. I think he's an absolute superstar. I love him. But sometimes, somebody had to run second in those races, and it happened to be Fearless. It's not like he was making a dent in any of them. And he's going to be way over bet, and now he's going back out to 2 turns as well. So I put him underneath, and then Commandeer down inside for Jimmy Toner, who's quietly
interesting off the works.
Yeah, the works jump off the page, right? And Jimmy's quietly. I mean, he's just 1 for 14, but he's had some horses that have run very, very well. And Commandeer looks a little crafty in here, and he's a stayer, so I put him in the mix as well. I'm dead set against Greatest Honor. 2-4-1 for me.
Off of that last race,
he's slow. He's so slow.
I'm just wondering if he doesn't. Well, I'm just wondering if he doesn't improve off of that, though.
He was really bad last time. I know it was his first off the layoff.
Yeah, I'm thinking he might have needed that.
So I'm sure he probably
did. We will find out this afternoon. That puzzle will be solved this afternoon.
And he likes Gulfstream Park. I'll give him that.
7th race at Gulfstream today, the Sand Springs. $100,000 up for grabs. They're on the grass at 1 1/16.
You know, Seth, I just picked a horse that I've always liked, Crystal Cliffs, 4-3-5-7. Graham brings her back off the layoff. She's got a lot of talent. She's probably got an issue or two. He's had trouble kind of getting a full campaign out of her a little bit, but I just have so much trust and faith in the job Graham Motion does. And I think when she's right, Seth, she's probably as good as anybody in here. And you might get a little hint of a price with her, too, because of the layoffs and all that. Vigilante Way for Shug was so good at the Shore last year. So I put Crystal Cliffs on top. Stolen Holiday for Shug. She wired at Tampa last time in a monster effort. I don't know if that's a trip she's going to pull today, but she seems to be getting pretty good. And then Stunning Princess, I know you talked to Danny Gargan, and Danny's having a big winter down here as well. He does such a good job. So I go 4-3-5-7 Sugar Fix in there as well.
Yeah, and so you can tune in Racing Across America because we did mention a little Stunning Princess in the conversation we had. I went 3-5-4, 3-5-4-8, so I'm right in the same. I've just juggled them up differently. But I'm with you. I really like Crystal Cliffs, but I thought Stolen Holiday off the last race. But it was a little bit probably of an anomaly of the way this horse likes to run. I agree. I don't think that's going to be the style this afternoon, so we get the same performance. We'll find out. But Stunning Princess and Crystal Cliffs were two that I probably could have just as easily juggled up in the order you had. I think it's a pretty evenly matched bunch on the top end of things here. The number 8, Il Malaccio, I think could be a little bit of a performer at 12-1 for Marty Drexler coming out of a try on the dirt in the Royal Delta. Gets back to the grass, and I'm not sure if grass is this horse's game, but I thought this horse was a little bit intriguing in here at a price, so I wouldn't talk anybody off of using that one in some of the picks or whatnot. I have a 3-5-4-8.
So this one, that race kicked off the middle, pick 4, by the way, the second of 3. We're halfway home. 7 down, 7 to go. Race 8 is a maiden special weight for 3-year-olds. We go 7 furlongs. A lot of good ones, good-looking prospects in here.
5-2-11-7. I thought the 8 was a little bit scary as well. The 8's 3-1, so I'm not telling you anything, but I'm just saying I wouldn't talk anybody out of that. But I used the 5 at 30-1. I thought by Malibu Moon, Rusty Arnold has a good stat, second out of the box. This horse didn't do anything in debut and went off at a huge price. But again, I just thought this horse might be intriguing and didn't want to kick myself afterwards should this horse come in at a big price on a big day with a stat for the trainer. And this sire who is a win early type of sire. So I'm going to go with a little bit of a price, the number 5 on top here. Inventing for Todd Pletcher, first time out at Gulfstream. Irod on board, things to like there. And easy to love first time out for Bill Mott with some workouts at Payson that look pretty good for a first time starter. So again, I'm rolling the dice mid-card here, 5-2-11-7.
8-2-11-7-4 for me. No real strong opinion. If you're playing that early, that middle pick 4, check the will pays. You can get a little idea who's getting live because George Weaver's got a firster in here that they paid a bunch of money for. I went with Frippet. Jonathan Thomas has a really strong meet. Spotting his horse as well. This horse ran well on debut. Green Up was so good that day. Now we get the experience edge. We're off the rail. I put him on top. Certainly Inventing and Easy to Love are on my radar too.
Race number 9. We're back to stakes action in the Pan American Grade 2 event. Couple $100,000 up for grabs. And again, a marathon distance, 1.5 miles on the grass.
Rainbow 6 time here as well. $750,000 in that gross guaranteed jackpot. Abon, you go watch his race last time. Boy, did he have a trip and a half. He had no chance. And Temple, conversely, who won the race, was never going to lose with the trip he pulled. But I'm going to come back to Bond today. 5-3-6 for me. I just think he can't have a trip like that again. It was so bad. He had no chance, and he still, to his credit, he's tried valiantly through the lane. He just had too much to do and he had too much trouble to overcome. He's a really nice prospect. Gufo is obviously the class. He's a grade 1 winner. I know that. Multiple grade 1 winner, yeah. And he's the best horse. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, this is the start of his campaign. It's a comeback. He hasn't been out since the Breeders' Cup when he didn't do any running that day. And I'm sure Christoph just wants to get him started. So I put him underneath. And then Temple, certainly a major, major player. I just can't possibly believe he gets it any better than he had it last time. So I put him underneath. 5-3-6.
I went 3, 6, 2, and 5, and I may kick myself. I like a Bond quite a bit, but didn't pull the trigger there. I went with Gufo, and I'm hoping he runs off the layoff. I thought Temple off the last start. Midday Image.
He loves it here, Seth.
Yeah, I just thought Midday Image, could pull a theft on the front end. And if that horse sneaks away a little bit and Paco Lopez on board, I just, 12-1 on the morning line, if that kind of thing holds up, that's one certainly to have in the picks, because if they come around the stretch the first time and that horse is loping along, and then second time on the back stretch has it still in a loping along thing, maybe tough to reel in. In the ninth, the Pan American, 3, 6, 2, and 5.
Late pick 5 time in the 10th, 750 is the guarantee in that pool. And I think, I don't know, I'm going to throw $3 million out there. Maybe is in play in that pick 5 pool. It's a Sir Shackleton, 7 furlongs for the 4-year-olds and up.
1, 9, 2, and 4. I put Fortin Hill on top. Decent little second place finish last time off a long layoff for Bill Mott and Larry Best OXO Equine. And I thought off of that race, the horse could be primed for a good second start back to kick off the 6-year-old season. It is a very lightly raced 6-year-old, though. But it just seems like that last race may bode well. So I went in that direction. Talk a little bit about Collaborate with Safi, and you'll hear that a little bit later, but he said just one that he can't quite figure out and has maybe more talent than the record indicates, was the idea I was getting, and I think that's true. And so Collaborate in the mix for me. Quick Tempo off the last win I think is very playable. And Wayburn moves out of the barn at Jimmy Jerkins, but boy, that's a horse that had shown a lot of talent. And just the resume, the wins may not indicate it, but I think it's a pretty good horse. And the 10-1, kind of intriguing today as well. In the Sir Shackleton, 1, 9, 2, and 4. I
tried hard to make Wayburn. I've never liked him, but I think, his best race was the Gotham, and that's kind of what he's doing today. One turn. 1, 4, 2 for me. I love Fortin Hill in here. I mean, he had no chance last time. Quick Tempo right next door got loose, and he just wasn't going to stop that day off the claim for Carlos David. I was like, wait, Fortin Hill's still alive? Like, what is this horse doing in here? And the fact that they brought him back, and he's still a horse, by the way. He's not a gelding. So it just, to me, says, he's doing really good. And Bill Mott, the ultimate horseman, I would think they think he can do some damage this year. And I would expect him, as you mentioned, he's only run 6 times. He moves forward in a big, big way in here. And hopefully somebody can run a little bit with Quick Tempo. Nobody's going to duel with him, but at least keep him honest. And he goes another furlong farther today. I think that's problematic. I agree with you on Wayburn. I think he's interesting. And Brendan's got him now, and he does such a good job, and he's tactical, and I think the one turn is his jam. So I'm going to fool around with him underneath, but I do like Fortin Hill in here. He's actually a single for me to kick off the pick 5. Bold.
The 11th at Gulfstream, the Sanibel Island. We're looking at $100,000 up for grabs for 3-year-old fillies on the grass. Mile of 16th.
9-1, 2, 6, 7. There's no speed in the race with the exception of sensitivity. My buddy mentioned Paco. He's back from his little extended vacation. He's going to ride today. Gets to keep his stakes engagements. So he'll put sensitivity on the lead. And then there's my filly Twirl, who should be outside of her, keeping an eye on her. And I don't really to me, sensitivity isn't going to win this race, and that means my filly Twirl is going to take over off the far turn when she tires. And I think it puts her in a really good spot. There's some nice horses in here, but there's also a lot of these horses don't have any early speed, and I think that's a problem. So my filly Twirl on top, certainly Mischievous Kiss is the horse to beat. There's no doubt about it. Spinderella absolutely freaked last time. She was so good. What a prospect for Graham Motion, and Mischievous Kiss was kind of had to chase her, and Spinderella just freaked that day. So certainly Mischievous Kiss down inside is going to save all the ground and be involved throughout. And then Beechnut Trophy was so good. I'm sure you probably mentioned to Safi, but I don't think the flow of the race is going to help her today.
I went 6, 1, 9, and 8. I put Shad Nation on top. I mentioned it earlier. I like a lightly raced 2-year-old, gets a, excuse me, a little bit of a break, comes back as a 3-year-old. And you might get an improved performance. That's kind of what I'm hoping with that one. Mischievous Kiss, I agree. Certainly off that last race, the debut in the 3-year-old season for Bill Mott was promising, and then my filly Twirl there. Ambatus, I thought, could be intriguing. Yep. The numbers overall are a little light, but the race 2 back would be good enough, and that was the last time this horse was at Gulfstream for Graham Motion. Luis Saez on board. That's a bonus as well. The 11th at Gulfstream, 6, 1, 9, and 8.
Gulfstream Park Oaks in the 12. The 3-year-old filly stretching out. There's a short finish line here. 2 turns. Katish is out, by the way. She's going to scratch, okay? Takes the speed away, and it's a matchup of can Kathleen O keep her undefeated record?
Good to know, because I had Katish down in the 3rd spot, so I'm now 7, 5, and 9. And you know, I say good to know because I had Katish down in the I don't. To me, I'll be interested to hear your thoughts. I don't think there's anything this. To me, it's a free square today, Kathleen O. I was up at Payson Park the other day. I am no real judge of horse flesh, but she looked pretty good. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to I will say I'm no judge of horse flesh, but I watch a lot of horse races, and she looked really good in the Devona Dale. So I think Kathleen O is the one you get through. Goddess of Fire, certainly. Promising, talented for Todd Pletcher. So there's an alternative, I suppose, but I think that horse is going to be a close-up second choice and not much value. Blustery, 30-1 on the morning line. I thought the horse was maybe a little bit intriguing. They claim the horse steps up, but it seems like it's going to go through the top 2. And for me, it seems like it's going to be tough to get past Kathleen O. 7, 5, and 9.
Well, Blustery's a lone speed now, so that'll help her a little bit. I do like Goddess of Fire quite a bit in here. She's the 2-turn horse. Now, Kathleen O's never tried it. Certainly bred for it, and she's awesome, and Shug's done such a good job. But as I mentioned, this is the 2-turn short finish line race. That's problematic for Kathleen O because she's got that devastating stretch kick, and now she's going to be spotting open lengths to Goddess of Fire, who's already done the 2-turn thing. She ran so well at Fairgrounds in the Rachel Alexandra, and she's just going to have a clear runoff for her on the far turn. So, you know, a lot of times that short finish line can carry horses home. So I'm just going to swap them. I did Dutch them in the pick 5. I'm going to use them both. It's probably not, you know, the smartest thing. I'll have a little more on Goddess of Fire on my extra tickets, but I think she's in a good spot today. I'm not saying she's a better horse. I think today she's in a good spot.
All right, got a couple of minutes left here to wrap up the last 2. The 13th is the Appleton, a mile on the grass. Top of my page, looks wide open, so I'm going to be interested to hear what you say.
Well, we want to get to the Derby. So 19743. I guarantee you I'll have the winner of this race because I will have an all ball. I have no opinion whatsoever. I thought Noble Indy ran really, really big off the claim somehow last time for Gustavo Delgado.
That's interesting that you say because, as I said, I thought it was wide open. 2, 9, 7, and 5. I thought Scarlet Sky was interesting in the 4-year-old debut for Shug at 6-1 on the morning line. All right, I'll let you intro.
Yep. So here's the Derby. 648, I believe we're going to post. $1 million. The Curlin Florida Derby. 3-year-olds, a true mile in an eighth.
638 is the listed post.
Listed.
So we will. Whenever they come out of the gate, this is a fun edition of the Florida Derby. 6, 3, 2, and 7 for me. And, you know, you will see on Racing Across America, as I have talked to people over the last couple of days and taped some things, I thought I was getting a little clever with Charge It. It's Todd Pletcher, a horse that had a nice win last time in the second career start, working well, lightly raced, steps into stakes company. Todd at Gulfstream in a Derby prep. But as I say, my clever pick, a lot of people are in the same boat. But Charge It on top for me. Simplification off of the nice win in the Fountain of Youth seems like the horse to beat, though. But Classic Causeway coming out of Tampa. is intriguing. White Barrio coming out of the win in the Holy Bull is intriguing as well. I think it's a fun race, as I say. Now I'm really interested to see, as they walk in the gate, what the odds will be on Charge It. But I have it 6-3, 2, and 7.
6-3, 9, and 7 for me, for all the reasons he mentioned. It's just Charges. Todd just loves to win this race. He's so good at getting these 3-year-olds to stretch out. And I think Charge It from this post is in a really good spot. This is the family of, Will Take Charge and Take Charge Indy, who's in this family as well, won the Florida Derby. And Charge It hasn't even run 2 turns yet. So I just think the future's ahead of him. I'll be rooting like hell for Simplification. I think Antonio's done such a good job with this horse. He's a cool horse. Antonio's a guy, the kind of the cookie cutter trainer. He's here every single day running horses, and now he's showing what he can do with a really good horse. So I think it's a great story. Don't sleep on O Captain. I did not have the wherewithal to pick him on top. I really wanted to. He will be running on late. And this, as I said, this is a real race today. It's not the short finish line of the Holy Bull or of the Fountain of Youth, where some horses, quite possibly White Barrio, got helped by that short finish line. You're going to have to run today, and you're going to have to run 9 furlongs. And I think O Captain has a chance to do it a lot better than some of these others that might have a little difficulty in that 9th furlong.
Excellent. So there it is. There's the program. You can find the selections on capitalotb.com. Pick up the one sheet if you can get a chance to write them down. Nice printable sheet there, Brian. Appreciate it. Good luck this afternoon.
Good to see you down here, and Brian and Dennis, as always, and the guys back in Albany, and the guys back in this headset here helping us all out. So love everything that the guys and the gals do. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll kick off Racing Across America. Stay tuned.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.